phone. Please go tell somebody. Go tell somebody. Let me straighten you out over here. Okay, everybody good. Everybody situated. I got my YouTubers. I got my everybody going on. All right. Somebody said lower self. Hospital was hell. This, that, and the third. So anxiety. Anxiety is down here in the crevice of things, and we know that this is the roots, right? The root chakra. How many of y'all can see that? Y'all see that? I know I got a little glap, but it is the root chakra. Okay, the adrenals. This is where anxiety comes from. It is the root of the problem. Okay, the root of the problem comes from a little thing called adrenals when you're dealing with anxiety issues. Okay, right here, the adrenals, anxiety. This anxiety is also a representative of where you at in the lower or the high self. Somebody said the lower self all ago. Okay, anxiety also is a representation of how strong your faith is. For you, all of you out there dealing with religiosity, okay, anxiety has a lot of measurement to do with what kind of how strong your faith is. If you got a lot of anxiety, you don't have a lot of faith. If you got a lot of worry, you don't have a lot of faith. Okay. Now another thing is that it says that the love of money is the root of all evil, not actually money. So we know that if we forward our love from the fourth chakra down, right, and we put love and attention onto that money, onto that worry, onto that survival mode, then guess what? We start getting anxiety. Right? Now let me show you a little something here. We got some receipts so I can show you about not being content. Because I've been teaching you contentment, but there's just another way. All right, another way we doing it. Because you can't, if you can't be patient and wait on nature, we got to address these problems. And the problem, reason why you tend to wait on nature, that anxiety issue. All right, you too stuck on expedient results. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and petition with thanksgiving present your request to God. But it says, be anxious for nothing. Okay, anxious for nothing. Now, what is the root word of anxious? The root word of anxious originates from the Latin word anxious, meaning distressed and troubled. So when you're down here in your lower self, you're distressed and you're troubled. Now you're trying to say that you got money, but your money won't allow you to alleviate stress, distress, and trouble. You could be poor and still got distress and trouble. You could be rich and still is distressed and trouble. So we see that there's no real way around it, no matter what we're dealing with in the poor end or the rich end of life. You could still be dealing with anxiety. A poor man needs money, a rich man needs more money. Okay. And then it said that this Latin term is derived from angry. Okay. Angry, or whatever you want to call it, but it look like anger to me. Are you angry? Which means to choke, to cause pain to afflict or vex. The root anger is linked to the Proto-Indo-European root meaning tight, painful, constricted, painful. Now, what I want you to see is what the root word of anxious is about a distress or troubled thing that's constricted, confined it, choked, and caused pain in the interim. To me, you guys, this is the biggest definition of hell that you can about imagine, right? So now we understand that anxiety chokes me. Anxiety chokes me. It holds me here in the lower self. Anxiety causes pain in the lower self. It causes distress in the lower self. It causes, and when I say lower self, I ain't talking about the lower part of your body, the place that you're in. This anxiety, this root of most of the issues is that you're confined. You're constricted. Your move around is limited. So you eat limited, you think limited, and you live a limited life because you haven't tapped into potential because you are too fixed on worrying about what folks think about you, what they're going to do with you, how they see you, how they view you. And as soon as you get ostracized for a little bit of indifference, you go start to hurt yourself with self-harm tactics. So you'll see that being in the root chakra, being in this particular mindset of anxiety, being anxious for every little thing. I need money for to pay the bill, for the light bill, for the gas bill, for the daycare, for the food, for the water that we need to drink. I'm always on edge trying to make sure I got enough pennies to save up to be able to do it. You don't recognize that as anxiety because you ain't been diagnosed with no doctor. But I'm here to tell you that if you're living a life of check to check, you are under undue stress and trouble. If you are dealing with high blood pressure, it's meaning you are distressed and troubled. If you're dealing with arthritis, it means that you are stressed and troubled. And most of it has something to do with instability in where you value. Now that could be a home, a car, some kids, a house, a family, whatever it is, wherever your what value system is at, that's where your love is at. This tends to be why you're so super hyper anxious and always have your sympathetic nervous system running you down. And so when I'm teaching and preaching about contentment for the last 2 days, what I'm trying to do is let you know that you cannot, I keep repeating this. Let me put this back in here. You cannot live to 120 years old under distress and trouble. Somebody put that in the chat, please. You cannot live to 120 under distress or trouble. Okay? Everybody get that? You cannot live to 120 distress or trouble all your life, or the majority of your paradigm. We also know that anxiety is one of the root indicators of you being in your lower self. You cannot live to 120 years old under distress and trouble, and you won't even be able to reach afterlife. Afterlife is an afterthought. If we can't walk upright into 120 years old as a human species, we still haven't. There's something that we still haven't figured out. And what I'm trying to get you to see is that this is the ancient system that could allow you to figure out how to maneuver through this particular paradigm. But if you are anxious and worried about every day and everything and every little thing that we got going on in life, what happens is you put stress on the particular body, and that stress keeps you compressed into your lower self. Okay, it keeps you compressed into your lower self. Let's keep going. I got some more receipts. I ain't finished with y'all yet. I had some more. Got some more bodegas coming. Let me see. They ain't gonna let me show that. So I couldn't show y'all that. So they ain't gonna let me show that. So based on this little wheel right here, okay, based on this little wheel that you're seeing in the middle of your screen, okay, and for you guys that are on YouTube, we're showing them the zodiac wheel. I can't share my screen with you guys, all right? But now you got this little wheel that's been broken down. All I did was half this wheel and put it here. This is the ecliptic of the sun. All we're doing is following the sun's path in order to redirect traffic in our life. There's a part of this particular paradigm where you should be in your physical prime, and then there's a part of this paradigm where you should be at your spiritual prime. Somebody please put that in the chat. There's a particular part of this 120-year cycle that you're supposed to be at your physically fit prime. But then there's a part of this particular paradigm where you should be at your spiritually fit. Everything ain't gonna always require high energy from the physical body because nature knows that you only going to be here for a short period of time if you don't know how to pace self body preservation. If you don't understand that, will get you nothing in this paradigm. So what the ancient people before us didn't understand is the body preservation. So they fasted too long. They fasted long enough to get into the spiritual, but they fasted too long to come back into the physical. So that's forward. You never had anybody come back and tell you something because the point that they missed out on is body preservation. And you can't do this when you die. Mummification ain't gonna bring you back. That was a symbology of this particular math. Mummification was a symbology of what I'm talking about. But they did it to the dead instead of to the living. They put on all that good honey and all that good wax and all this good skin ointments and all of that when you die, not when you was living. You see? Because it was so rare, it was so special. You know how it is when you're at home with your mom and them, they buy something, you can't touch nothing in now, right? Everything's so special, so rare that you really can't even enjoy it because you're making everything a commodity, something from the gods, something that's so pure and rare that the person who got it don't even want it. Don't even want to take it. I know some folks right now that used to buy my little bath soaps that I used to make, and still they ain't took it yet because it just becomes a commodity, right? It becomes a rarity. It becomes this a trophy instead of something that you would normally take. A lot like your seasonings in the kitchen. Your seasonings in your kitchen has become somewhat of a trophy, or somewhat of I'm gonna say a flavor factory, but you don't use enough of it. If you would just dip a teaspoon in that thing instead of sprinkle and make a tea out of that oregano, make a tea out of that dill, make a tea out of that cayenne, make a tea out of that, this or that, you'll see that you got exactly what you need for most cold systems in your kitchen. But if you're gonna keep on sprinkling it, it ain't gonna do that. You're gonna keep on sprinkling thyme instead of making some thyme tea. You won't see what the medicinal aspects of thyme really is. You don't need no bullion if you knew how to use thyme. I'd rather somebody's bullion because it's a fad coming across the screen. But I'm here to tell you why the hell you gonna use bullion and you ain't use thyme? Huh? Why you gonna do that? Why you gonna use this and that for your hair? Botana oil. I'm using some botana oil. But you ain't even used the rosemary right yet. You ain't gotta go spend no extra money. You gotta know what it is and how and the difference in what you're doing. There's a difference in boiling something, baking something, broiling something, frying something. There's a difference in chewing something. There's a difference in cooking something. There's a difference in these particular processes of information, how you break something down. A lot of people don't talk about that in the beginning. You chewed the stuff. You didn't put a fire on it or nothing else. It was the chewing of the herb, right? So we see that there is a mechanism that we're losing because we're not necessarily keeping the old ancient understanding of man and nature. And when you lose that man and nature connectivity, guess what happens, you guys? You lose a little bit of your magic. And some of us that are watching these TikTok right now is in need of some magic. They magically need to get up off that dialysis. Magically need to get up off of that. Magically need to get these knees working again because they just do not want to have fake knees. They don't want to have surgeries. But the thing about it is they have ran down the physical so bad that they need to contemplate surgery or they needed magic to happen. You see what I'm saying? They don't ran their body down so bad they either got two choices: either some magic gotta happen or some surgery finna happen because they're at that point. And what I'm trying to get you guys to see is the reason why you're at that point for a lot of you guys is because you don't know your own life timeline. So for a funky, measly little $50, we come on here every day and preach to you the honest manual, okay? So that you guys can get what we're offering, which is not a product, but a program. A program to do what? For you to know your nature within nature and get back in alignment with nature, and that's your medicine. This provides you with the right foods, the right herbs, the right life activities, the right this and the right that you would need to get back to you getting back into balance. But if you're worried every 5 minutes of with anxious and worryation, then is the original that needs to with. If you deal with that, because when you call me, that's what a lot of y'all scared to do anyway, is call me because you know I'm gonna get on you. Right? But we got to work on that spiritual side. You got to work on that spiritual side. I know a lot of y'all scared to talk to me because y'all just want to get that physical side. Y'all scared. I have some folk emailing me. No, could you walk me through my email? No, I want to talk to you. I want to get to know that voice. I want to hear that bullshit you're trying to throw out that you've been throwing out to everybody else. You know how you throw that bullshit out to your pastor, not gonna wear what you're doing. You know how you throw that bullshit out to your boss man, to your wife, to your kids. See, you even throw that bullshit out to your friends. Them. That might be your best friend. You've been lying that nigga ever since 4-5 years now. You feel what I'm saying? Because yeah, folks that believe in your bullshit, you have this act that you put on once you get out of that bedroom, once you put on that makeup in your bathroom, and you walk out of there a person that really ain't who you really want to be, right? And it don't matter who you bump into, mama them, sister them, daddy them, brother them, cousin them. You tend to always got to keep that makeup person on than the real motherfucker. Now, what's happening is that's starting to harm you physically, and you don't know it because the harm that it's doing to you mentally is starting to creep into your psychosis, and now you're actually starting to believe your own characteristics or own character that you made up, and now you're starting to miss things in this particular paradigm and element that you're walking in. So what this shows you with this little white thing up here is why you doing what you're doing, where you at, and why you there, and what's going to be causing you the issues in that particular paradigm. That's what we do. So I'm gonna take a couple of y'all right now, but we got to get this thing up to 100K. So you keep tapping, I'll keep talking. Okay, I'm gonna take a couple of y'all, but y'all hold on for a second. We ain't ready yet. We ain't quite there yet, right? So understanding that anxiety, anxiousness, understanding that the root word of anxiety is anxious, right? ANXI, right? S, anxious. So we're understanding that that is primarily pain. So that's what they were talking about being in hell is pain. That struggle and that worryation and that distress and that trouble mind, because this is all happening in your mind before it got to any of these glands or before it done anything to you physically. Let me repeat that because I think they said I got my two people in the back with hearing aids. It's done happening in your mind first, way before the thought becomes an action. Okay? So in your mind, you are rooted around this particular dynamic of survival, causing all of this chemical display in the blood, because this is a part of your endocrine system, your adrenal. So anxiety is created through the environment you're living in, and the experience that you're having is hellacious. But if you understood contentment and depending back on nature. See, the reason why you anxiety is because you believe in medication. The reason why you got anxiety is because you believe in your check at the end of the day, end of the week, was the thing. You don't want to say it, but you believe that it's your money that is providing you the energy to survive. When in actuality, it's not the money that's causing the energy, it is you. You are the currency. You are the electrical magnetic flow and force that produces some byproduct, which you call the $10 or the rand or the yen or whatever country you're in, the peso or the this or the that. But at the end of the day, it is your electromagnetic tip that actually produced the result. Without you getting up and doing, you would not get paid for anything. So it's in your getting up and doing. Okay. Now that's no different than understanding this dynamic and how we live to be 120 is to be able to understand that first it is in my will, it is in my power that I've been able to do this. So therefore we get in understanding that it is in my power that I take my own health back into my own hands, and understanding that in this paradigm, I got two sides to the story. Now where I'm at is gonna mean everything to me. Okay, where I'm actually located is gonna mean everything to me. So somebody really quick, let's get us up to 50K, you guys. Let's get us up to 50K. All right, y'all know how we trying to do it though. This is 100K day today, so I ain't even playing with y'all today. Okay, day. If you guys are interested in your owner's manual, stay tuned. Cat, I'm gonna do Cat just because she hit me off the back. Okay, Cat hit me off the back, so we're gonna do Cat 8/9/1999. 8/9/1999. Cat said, "Go ahead and give me real quick." I already see what you're about to do. I see you looking for the tissue. Cat said, "I see you for the attention. I see you looking to get right on the bold up, so let me go ahead and throw mine in. All right, Cat. So real quick, let me just show you what the owner's manual will do. Can I do that for a minute? Put some ones in the chat if you guys are ready to show what the owner's manual capabilities is. All right. We got Cat in the building, born in August 9th, 1999. Put some ones in the chat if you guys just want to show Cat a little bit about what this owner's manual actually does. All right. If you guys don't know, we're also on YouTube. You can go over there, youtube.com/C/HerbMan. youtube.com/C/HerbMan. All right. And then y'all can go ahead and tune into the HerbMan show. So first of all, Cat, the bottom line is you know that one part of this life is physical, one part is spiritual. You need to win and how things gonna pop in. Okay. So off the real Cat, you're going to date in 1999. Okay. It's going to be August the 9th, right? So from July the 1st from July the 21st, which is 7/21 to 8/21, that's a Leo. Okay, so because you fall right into that, then you're going to be a Leo. All right. Now a Leo is right here. Now I want you guys to follow these pictures. All right. So all right. The beginning, the beginning is the end, you guys. All right. So hold on one second. I got a little feedback. I got a little feedback here. So your starting point is your finishing point. Okay. Right here off the bat, you let me know that you were born in the Leo. So that means the opposite side of you is going to be an Aquarius. Okay. The opposite side of you is going to be an Aquarius. Okay. Okay. So that means that you have a very high intellectual ability, very technologically sound. You could be somewhat of a computer nerd or something like that, but you just love helping people out. You love to do things that you love to do. You're going to be randomly found having to do things that you don't love to do. You'll tap out in a minute if you don't love to do it. That's the Leo and the Aquarian qualities about you. You can also be very otherworldly with kind of some of your thought processes, but overall, a very prideful person. Very strong-minded, strong-willed, tend to have a great personality. Can find yourself laughing and giggling and have this childlike, spirit about yourself. Can be caught up in love affairs. Find yourself with a lot of partners. All right, but at the end of the day, Cat, you are right here as far as your beginning. Your beginning is your end. And the fact that you were born in 1999, that lets us know that we got to be looking at how old you are. So we're going to say you're probably around about 26 years old or you're going to get there, right? So now we count this out 10, 20, and 5 or 6 years old, right? So you're currently right here in the winter of life, Cat. Okay, you're currently in Libra. So you will find, and I'm going to tell you when, 10 and 20, from 15 to 25 years old, from 15 to 25 years old. So I'm going to say within the last at least 5 years, Cat, since you was 20, you've been all about this partnership and relationship thing. Okay, you've been all about trying to find your boo, your Boaz, getting married if you haven't already. But you've been about either working with someone else or living life with someone else. That's been your little mindset here for the last past 5 years. Why? It's because you're in Libra. It's all about you engaging in those things. Now, here's the thing about the fall. The fall is your spiritual time of life. You can get this early on in life. You can get this later on in life. Okay, y'all see Cat right there. I don't know her, but she said that's accurate. Okay. Now, because you're in this spiritual time of life, this fall of life, sometimes Libra can mean things will come and go, meaning that you probably got out of a major relationship, but then you're about to get into one. Okay? It's in the fall of life. Next, you're going to come over here to your Scorpio time. So you're going to spend 10 years in each of these life lessons, okay? 10 years. But what you want to know is because right here, you're just not coming into this. If you're not smart enough, Cat, and I want everybody to get this and understand this at the sound of my voice. If y'all don't really understand what I'm saying, is that if Cat is not smart enough to understand what I'm just showing her, the winter can take you out. If you're not prepared for these times in life, these times can take you out, whether it be the fall and winter or the spring and summer, if you're not careful. Look at how old she's going to be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. 60, 70, and 80 years old. So from 30 to 80 years old, that's 50 years that you got to try to make it through a fall and a winter of life. Things coming and going. But now you got old. Now it's getting cold. And I'm talking about cold in life is spiritual. I ain't talking about cold in life in the actual temperature. And you're going through this phase later in your life. So you see that you can get trapped up in this if you're not prepared for it. And that's what you're getting with your owner's manual. That's probably one of the best resources that I could probably ever give you as far as you understanding the season that you in. If y'all never ever thought that little funky piece of little $50 you spend, it ain't worth it. If nothing else, is to get this season that you in so you can be more prepared about what's coming up in your life or what's going on in your life currently. But then also you can slide away from here with knowing these foods and knowing these herbs. Those three components, if you don't know nothing about nothing else that we're talking about, getting these herbs, getting these foods, and knowing what season you're in to save half of y'all damn life. It'll save half of y'all damn life. Okay. Now, on top of that, cat, because we still ain't finished with you, because for this little funky measly $50, you don't get a lot of information. So we still ain't finished it because now we got to understand what kind of foods do you need. So the fact of the matter that you are a Leo, we know that it's a fire sign. You got an air sign. Okay. Now, if we think that you're a different type of model of somebody, we can do the math. 8 plus 9 is 17. 1 plus 7 equals 8. Okay, that's the first part of your birthday. 1999. Let's start with 19 because 1 and 9 is 10 plus another 9 is 19. Okay, so 19 plus 9 will give you what? 28. 8 plus 2 is going to give you what? 10. 1 plus 0, what? 1. So now we got the 8 from the beginning and the 1 from the end, and we add them up. 1 and 8 equals 9. That lets me predict for a model 9 species, which means that you're also fire. So you're a fire, air, okay? Which means that you can be prone to attachment issues, mood issues, sleep issues, mood swings, nervous system issues, muscle spasms, circulatory issues, all come from this, but all come from attachment issues. Attachment issues is that you have a tendency to be attached to a particular thought process, a paradigm. You tend to be a little bit stubborn when it comes to what you think is right and wrong versus what somebody else may tell you. And that stubbornness, that firmness could make it to where you are attached to your ideal about life. And it's very hard to move you when God say move or when nature says move. So you got to know that when nature say move, you got to move. That earthquake, that tornado, that hurricane, right, is going to knock off your foundation. So you got to know when to move when nature says. So attachment issues can't be a problem for you. It cannot be, but you are prone to it. Another one is control issue. Okay, self. You might be able to say no to everybody else, but when it comes to you, cat, cat say shit. I'm gonna get what I want me to have. It my money, it's what I want. So but you got to be careful, okay? Because that's a sneaky little joker that'll come in and bite you in the back of the butt. And what'll happen is you'll be prone to diabetes because of it. You can be prone to digestive issues, liver issues, all because of self-control. Okay? All right. Now, last but not least is the air element. You can also be prone to immune issues, autoimmune issues, and respiratory issues. You might find yourself like to smoke here and there because of that air element. Okay, but you need to continue to manifest around candles, around sunlight. Continue to go out and sunbathe. Right? I know you're a girl that loves your little candles, cat. So keep firing up your candles and keep speaking and keep thinking. And you can manifest a whole lot faster. But remember that you're in the spiritual time of your life. So I want you to start drawing things closer to you. Get a job close to home, or get a job in your home. Okay, bring things closer to you because from 30 to 80 years old, you want to conserve your energy. You able to conserve in these next 50, 60 years. I promise you, if you never learn anything else from me today, Kat, that if you learn how to conserve your energy for the next 50 to 60 years, you'll have enough energy to make it to 120 years, especially when you come into the spring and summer of life. Because you're starting right here, you have to learn body preservation. You got to learn energy conservation. Because even if you don't leave away from here in the winter and fall, you 80 years old coming up in the spring and summer. How you gonna make it up this mountain at 80 years old? How you gonna make it up this mountain? It's showing you, it illustrates to you the ebbs and flows of life. Here you're going through the valley. You know what the valley is about. Here you're going up the mountain. Each one of them is going to give you their own strengths and their own. Yeah, going down the valley, you ain't got to worry about climbing so much, right? You don't get tired as easy. But the valley got a lot of depth to it, depthness, deep issues that come out of the valley. Yeah, the mountain, yeah, when you get to the top, yeah, you're gonna be happy as I don't know what. But it's still a hard climb. So some things got its weaknesses, some got its strengths. Cat, what you got for me? What you think about that, Cat? Let's go ahead and get Cat. And that's just off a little bit of something, something. You know, I could have told you a whole lot. We ain't even get into the herbs and the foods and everything because I just really was just trying to show you. We can map out where you at, tell you the season, and then we can do it everything else just by that firefight air, right? So by the firefight air, then I know that you need some the foods that you need here. This is blues and purples. This is yellows and oranges. For the air, it'll be green, right? So you need yellow and orange, blues and purples, and green foods. So then you go into the grocery store, you start shopping by color. Man, stuff is so beautiful. It's beautiful. You start shopping by color. Now, when it comes to the medicinal side of things, and you're looking for medicine from the herbs, then you do the opposite. For a fire condition, if you ever did condition, I'm gonna give you the herbs. If you ever got that air condition, I'm gonna give you the earth herbs. It's a rhyme to this thing. It's a rhyme to this thing that's showing you guys what's going on. Please be next. I sent info earlier, but yeah, I know Julius. Everybody want to be next, baby. Everybody want to be next. But I'm telling you guys that for a measly, funky $50, man, get all your information. No, ain't no need to come on here just getting a little bit. Get all of it, right? So that way you can stop paying so much for stuff that's not working for you. Medications, treatments, herbal concoctions, all these people, herbal products and stuff. Y'all just continue to keep using, because you don't know what you need and they don't know what you need. And so you're just trying to figure it out on yourself. I see so many people going to a little store that I used to shop at in Atlanta, Georgia called Health Unlimited. Man, you used to go in there and just get them folk their money. They don't know what they need. The folk don't care if they know what they need. And you're just buying stuff. You know what I mean? One guy came back. I remember him. He came back and said, I spent $80, $90 on the painkiller that didn't work. Because you know you can't take one herb. Devil's claw by itself is not going to handle something severe. So you might want to blend that devil's claw with a little bit of turmeric, with a little bit of ginger, with a little bit of what else out there? White willow. But then you got to check the blood pressure for the white willow. If you don't want to do white willow, then maybe you should think about doing something else, like about right? If you can't do boswellia, then think about some Jamaican dogwood. But there's a lot of different pain herbs that you can put together and take, and they're different. Some pain herbs are just for bones, and some pain herbs are for nerves. And so if you take a bone pain herbal blend, it won't help a nerve. So if you got sciatica nerve pain, but as an herbalist, I'm thinking, oh, Jamaican dogwood and devil's claw, they white willow, they good for it. It won't get rid of the sciatica. It won't get rid of the sciatica pain because those are bone pains, arthritic type of pain herbs, angelica roots, and all of this. But now, if you give that person some skull cap and some St. John's wort, even just for a little sciatica pain, the pain will go away. Nerve pain herbs different from bone pain herbs. Then you got muscle pain herbs. So therefore, you may need some feverfew, right? You may need a little feverfew. You may need a little angelica root. Every time I use turmeric, I put some prickly ash bark in it because turmeric needs something to be bioavailable to your body. That's why they tell you to put turmeric with black pepper. But in the herbal kingdom, I ain't gonna give everybody no black pepper. So I give you turmeric with prickly ash bark. Prickly ash bark works just like black pepper, but you ain't never heard of prickly ash bark. Okay? What can I do to get rid of anxiety? You got to get rid of the struggle and the worry. You know, if you really want to talk about it, Kim, what's worrying you? That's how you get rid of it. Once you get rid of the worry, you get rid of the anxiety. I know what's worrying you, Kim, because if you are dealing with anxiety, then I know that survival, you're in survival mode. You're in survival mode. Sometimes they just don't mean nothing about how much money you have. You could be in survival mode based on a relationship situation or a business situation or just a family situation can have you in survival mode. And you can have all the bread you need. And you see Kim Possible just said right there, yes, I am. We can tell what's going on in your life by your disease. Okay. Now, here's the thing. If you don't get rid of the worry, if you don't get rid of the thing that you're unstable, it's stability, right? So if you're talking about living check to check, that's living in instability. If you miss one day, you lose some pay on your check. You don't have enough to pay your bill. So you're working while you're sick, breaking down the body. You can't rest because of what the job pressure it puts you up under. On top of the fact that you got a spouse and some kids that you're trying to go home to take care of as well, on the body. Then you worried about a voting, and then you worried about a vacation. You worried about these bills, stress on the body. Then you worried about the basketball game. Then you worried about where you're gonna watch boxing at. Then you worry about what you gotta buy somebody for their birthday and Father's Day, Mother's Day, and holiday. Stress on the body. So now, Kim, the question is, how are we gonna alleviate this? Is by first speaking to the mind. And you say, I release all of my stress and fears. And that I release is a commandment that must be attached to the director. I release is a commandment, it's a statement being made to one's inner self to let it go. Because don't nothing got you. You got to hold on to things based on your perspective of life, based on your social engineering, based on what you think a quality of life is. See? So your own wants, needs, and desires is causing you to suffer. Because when you don't get what you want, don't get what you need, and don't get what you desire, you throw a pity. And that anxiety of not being able to get what you want, need, and desire, when you want, need it, and desire it, is the fallibility of this paradigm, which keeps us in our lower self, burning in pain and choking the life out of it. Being down here is painful. It chokes the life out of the paradigm in which you were created to be in. Listen to what I'm trying to get y'all to. I'm gonna tell y'all. I'm gonna show y'all this one more time. Please keep tapping the screen, you guys. Let's get us up to 100K. All right, we got about another 50 something minutes on. Listen to me. I'm gonna show y'all this one more time. This is what the word anxiety really means. If you guys are interested in the owner's manual, please DM me and I get you all the information that you need. Hold on. This is the scripture that we're using. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. First of all, we know that the Bible is talking about the mind. The mind. Second of all, we know that this is about the mind. I teach this all the time. We know that the first, everything starts in the mind. The Bible is talking about the mind. These are the two halves of the mind. You got the hemisphere left hemisphere. In other words, in nature, you got the southern hemisphere and the northern hemisphere. You got the masculine energy and the feminine energy. You got the yin, you got the yang. All of these different things is right here on this screen that you're seeing, but it's all talking about your mind. Let's get that straight. This scripture says, be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. Now that was a little bit of a instruction that was there that you probably didn't catch. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything. In everything you do. It said first, be anxious for nothing, but in everything, here goes some instruction. By prayer, by petition, and with thanksgiving, present your request to God. So now we know that by prayer, by petition. Also, I can get a few people with me. I can get a few people to politic with this, and then also with Thanksgiving. So we'll say praise, prayer, petition, and praise. You can present your request to God, so you don't have to be anxious for anything. Cat and Kim Possible. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything follow these instructions. Pray for it, petition for it, and praise God for it. Now, the other part of that you are missing, that I'm teaching y'all today, and the last P is patience. Is patience. When you pray, when you petition, and when you praise God for it, you must also understand that you must be patient with nature. Okay. Now, some of y'all are praying, but you ain't got no patience. Some of y'all are petitioning with other folk. You're in prayer groups. You're all in these affiliations and associations, but you don't have any patience. Some of you guys are praising God for it in the future. You're already praising Him in advance. You ain't got no patience. Okay? You ain't got no patience. Now, without patience, this anxiety becomes the living hell in which we're teaching. The root causation of your problems, the root causation of disease. See, without patience, the word anxious originates from the Latin word anxious, meaning distress and trouble. So without patience, you are becoming distress and trouble in your mind. This Latin term is derived from angere, which means to choke, cause pain, to afflict, or vex. The root of angere is linked to the Proto-Indo-European root meaning tight, painful, constricted. You can't do as much as you think that you can do, and that's causing you a problem. And the reason why it's causing you a problem is why? It's because you're dreaming bigger than the life is presenting you the opportunities for. Let me repeat that one more time. They said I had about 2, 3 people in the back. You are actually dreaming bigger. You think of yourself bigger than the opportunities you actually been given. And you feel constricted. They say you can do anything you want to, but I see you can only do what your parents got to have some money to leave behind for the children. The children got to have some money to start off to really do something. This, that, and the third. So you start getting your own engineering. You start getting your own limitations start to formulate based on what you and your idea of making it really is. And when you are bigger than life itself is presenting you in your own head, you begin to live this painful life that you can't achieve what you really want to do. Now, this what happens is like a coping mechanism. That's the real big point to that. Real big point to not being able to be who you want to be for real and do what you want to do for real. As far as how you think, because I'm going to give you another take on this. You actually can do and be it, but that's the whole trick, is to keep you anxious, to keep you in futile, in lack of the knowledge of these things, so that you can stay anxious. Because see, an anxious person, life will end very quickly. You won't make it through the paradigm. So it's okay, because that's the revolving door of human life right now. Keep you anxious, let you clock out. They don't mind, because somebody else gonna fill your space. There's so many people vying to come into this paradigm that your particular existence here is not as prudent, or not as you may think in other folk mind. But you get your improvement back to you in this thing. There's so many people vying to come into this paradigm. You've been able to produce 30, 40, 50 years, enough for them to get at you. Listen to what I just said, y'all. There's so many souls looking to come back into this paradigm that if you just do 30 to 50 to 60 years of production, making some money, making the government whatever back off your existence, that's okay with them. They don't want you to live 120 years because they look at this 120 years as a resource issue. If you live to 120, that means you're producing well beyond 40 and 50 years old. Most women body clock gonna go out at 40 to 50. Well, if you are made to live 120 upright, and we get the science down packed on how to do this, now her fertility goes to her 70s, 80s. Now imagine a woman that is physically fit at 120 and can have babies up until 70, 80s. Now you populate it. Now we populate, baby. But that's what got us here in the beginning. The healthiness of the body and the healthiness of the consciousness allowed us to be able to spawn many children as possible because we didn't have no anxiety. What they gonna eat? What they gonna do? What we gonna eat? How we gonna live? Where we gonna go? It chokes you and it sends you to an early grave. And that word choke I'm using because it's literally choking the living air out of us, the spirit, the soul, anxiousness, anxiety, worrying is choking you, and it's causing you the pain and the affliction of being in the lower self. It's the root cause of all of the issues. It's the root cause. Okay. So when we learn this contentment and when we learn this embodiment of nature and how to take nature's example for our lives, we'll be better off. And that's what you get with your honest man. Somebody said this is sad. Yeah. Two T Rice Aquarius, 21686. 21686. You are you're in the third deacon of Aquarius. You're in the third deacon of Aquarius. Watch out for movement issues. Hey, watch out for some movement issues. Watch out for your circulation, my brother. Okay, whoever that was. Watch out for movement issues. 216 T Rice Aquarius. Movement, right? Ankles, shin, your legs, your arms. Watch out for your movements and watch out for circulation issues. T Rice Aquarius. Where you at, T Rice? Worrying and stressing is a sin. And yeah, if you understood that this is heaven, then yeah. Thanks, my ankle twist. Yeah, 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 yeah. You're prone to that, bro. Because of the Aquarius in you, you're prone to that, all right? You're prone to that. 3-3 Tory Ski. Tory Ski, you back in the building. 3377. Tory Ski is you in the building. 3377. You still in the building. All right, so 3377, that means that you are 221 to 321. You are Pisces, all right? And you're in the middle deacon. Okay, Pisces in the middle deacon. You want to watch for nerves, okay? Nerves. Watch out for your nerves, all right? And then you also want to watch out for your stomach, okay? You can have some stomach issues. So nerves, especially in your feet. Nerves, but especially in your feet, but nerves, period. Watch out for your nerves and watch out for some stomach issues, all right? Okay? Taurus ski. What you think about that? Taurus ski said that's on point. There we go. All right. There we go. 61256. Cheryl Richardson, 1256. Okay. So from so 521 to 621 is going to be a Gemini. Okay. In the last deacon of Gemini. Okay. The last deacon of Gemini. Okay. So I want you to watch out for speech. Okay. Speech issues, right, Cheryl? You could be a great speaker, but you can also have some speech issues you want to watch out for. And also, I believe that you can be nearsighted, Cheryl Robinson. Nearsighted, meaning that you see near, but have a problem with seeing far. Cheryl, there are also spiritual implications to sightedness. First, let me see if we're on track. Are you nearsighted? Are you nearsighted? And do you have any kind of speech issues? You might not have the speech issues, but let's see about the nearsightedness. Cheryl Richardson 322 said yes. Okay. So nearsightedness basically means from a particular spiritual understanding is that you're great at the day-to-day tasks, Cheryl. You are great at short-term planning, girl. You got it going on when you're short-term planning because you're nearsighted. So you can see the necessary things that need to be done in the day-to-day. But it is your long-term planning that you need to work on, Cheryl. And understanding that not only will help you in life, but it'll also help your eyesight. Because spiritually, what you're going through physically is also what you're going through spiritually, if that makes sense. Okay. Michaela is 7/7/1989. Okay, 7/7/1989. So from 6/21 to 7/21 is a Cancer. Okay, so you're in the middle deacon of Cancer. Okay, so being in that middle deacon of Cancer, you want to be careful with two things: body fat issues. Okay, Michaela, body fat issues and also bone. Okay, body fat issues and bones. You want to be careful of Michaela Estrella Morningstar. 111. Kayla said, yes, sir. Okay. Thank you very much for responding very quickly. That's what we want. Respond very quickly. Y'all want me to go through these? Respond very quickly. Okay. Let's see. I had somebody else I wanted to do mama because she's 60. She was born in 65. So 11165. 11165. Okay. So 1221 to 121 will make you a Capricorn. You've been in the third deacon of Capricorn. Okay. The third deacon of Capricorn, meaning that you got to watch out for two things: your joints, okay, your joints, Barbara. Gotta watch out for them joints, Barbara. And also your sense of touch. Something going on with your skin and your sense of touch, your fingertips, the way that you touch people or how you feel as far as your skin is concerned, but your sense of touch and your joints, you want to watch out for, Barbara. All right. All right. Who else we got here? I can't do everybody now. Y'all know I can't do everybody. Okay. But again, you guys, this is what you're getting on this onus thing. So don't feel left out. Don't feel like, oh, I can't get my reading done, my this and my that, because these people are only getting the tip of the iceberg. Okay. When you pay your funky measly $50, and for anybody who's interested, please go over to my DM and DM me, and we'll get you this information. But for a funky measly little $50, all we need is your birthday. We don't need a hair sample. We don't need a blood sample, a urine sample, a saliva sample. We don't need a blood type. We don't need to know your diet, your mama them credit card information. We don't need to know none of that. It's non-invasive, non-intrusive. You don't have to be worried about being pricked, prod, or poked. A birthday. Just like what these people doing here. Just like what Ashley Gomez is doing. 5/11/1999. 5/11/99. Okay. So from 4/21 to 5/21, what month is that? That's Taurus. Okay. She's born in the third deacon of Taurus. So really quick, Gomez. In the third deacon of Taurus, you need to watch out for your ears. Okay, your hearing. Gomez, watch out for your ears, your hearing. Okay. Watch out for your ears and your hearing. And then you also want to watch out for your hormones. Okay, Gomez? Ashley Gomez said, okay, thank you. Yes. That's all you got to understand and know. So this stuff is real simple, you guys. It's real easy. Their system. I do have a healing touch. Okay, Mama, you just finally came back. Do you have a book? No, we don't have a book quite yet, man. I will eventually. I am in the works of it. It just takes time. I'm here in South Africa right now. And so I'll be going back and forth to America, working on books and working on those things, and then going to other countries. I ain't finished living yet to write no book, but but it'll be a lot of revised books if I had to start writing it down. Really just now starting to hone in on this gift that I've been granted, really starting to hone in on this understanding that I've been gifted with, and really just starting to live it, man. Really starting to put it together within my own life. And that's what I was just telling, my significant other a while ago. It's just, hey, look, man, I'm starting to put this thing together. I'm starting to live it. I'm starting to look it, starting to feel it. So I'm able to really teach it at a higher level. At a higher level. You understand what I'm saying? Greetings to all my YouTubers over here. I ain't forgot about you guys. If y'all want to put a little birthday in, I do a couple of you guys as well. I ain't forgot about y'all over there. So we got 11/7/1972. Are you still in the building? 11/7/72. That's the physical church over here on YouTube. Are you still in the building? 11/7/72. Are you still in the building? Couple of my YouTubers real quick, you guys. Keep tapping that screen, you guys. I'll keep talking. Let's get us up to 100K. Again, guys, if you are interested in this particular dynamic on health, it is for me, funky $50, man. You get everything possible in this particular thing. You get the foods, the herbs, the activities. You get to understand your what we call your alter ego, but I like to call your dual personality. Everybody comes with one. Every Aries got some qualities in them. Every Libra got some Aryan qualities. Every Taurus on the planet has some Scorpion qualities. Every Scorpio has some Taurian qualities. Every Gemini on the planet has Sagittarian qualities, and every Sagittarius has Geminian qualities. Every Cancer on the planet has Capricornian qualities, and every Capricorn on the planet has Cancerian qualities. Every Leo on the planet has Virgo qualities, I mean Aquarian qualities. Every Aquarius has Leoan qualities. Every Virgo on the planet, under my voice, has Seeing qualities, and every Pisces on the planet has Virgoan qualities. This is your alter ego. This is your two sun signs. This is what they don't give you in natal chart reading. This is what you don't get when you go to medical astrologists. This is what you don't get when you get your tarot card reading. This is what you don't get when you get your numerology. This is what you don't get when you're going to get a basic natal card reading from a psychic or somebody like that. Because they weren't chosen to do this. They chose to do it. It's two different things. You can choose to do something, and it's some shit you chosen for. Everybody keep asking me how I know this stuff, why I know this stuff. Hell, I don't know. I don't know how I know it or why I know it. I just know that I know it, and I'm supposed to show you how to use it to heal yourself. You still got the herb pack going. You already know we got it. You already know we got it. So we all have our own sister sign energy. It's not sister sign, it's your two sun signs. You know, if you think about ancient Egyptian teaching, really, Isis is nothing but the female energy of Osiris. That's all Isis was. It wasn't really no real character. Isis was the female energy of what they call the consort. It's an energy consort, your other half of you. Each and every one of us got masculine energy and feminine energy. Each and every one of us got Adam and an Eve in us, right? So each and every one of us got an Osiris and an Isis in us, within us. So it ain't got nothing to do with a lesser energy or a different energy. It poses the same threat as your masculine energy. Feminine energy poses the same quality, the same threat, the same high potency as your masculine. It's just in a different way. When you are fully electric, you can cut on the city. But don't think that magnetism is going to be stuck behind. What the hell wrong with you? Your electricity can cut on the city, but don't think your magnetism is going to be a step behind. They are both as potent, as proficient, as effective as the next. They just have different offices and different functionalities. And once you learn how to in trust in the feminine energy, trust in the higher self, trust in resting and sleeping and relaxing and meditating and trusting back in nature and formulating that contentment, that's where you'll see anxiousness starts to erode. Your magneticism is just as strong as your electrifying quality. Some things you gotta go get, and that's the electric in you. But did you not know that there's some things that you can draw unto you? He said, draw not unto you, right? There are, you have an ability to draw things to you. You just don't use it. So when we're talking about healing yourself, if you got arthritis in your knee, you can't walk it out. Your knee ain't gonna get no better if you keep walking on it. If you got arthritis in your knee, your knees don't get better if you keep walking on them. It ain't gonna just go away. So how can a broke knee heal a broken knee? So you do the direct opposite for the healing. So if walking on it got it to where it's bone to bone, then stand off of it or get it to where it'll heal itself to where it needs to be. But you don't see the value in rest, relaxation, sleep, and meditation. That's why people gonna keep on hitting you in the pockets. Because y'all just don't want to sit down somewhere. You don't want to hear people like me tell you the truth for a minimal amount of money. I'm giving you the most effective thing on the planet. But because this shit ain't costing $5,000, you think I'm just talking shit. And the reality of it is that I'm the best man for the job to help you with your health. And I know that it seems minuscule. And I know that it seems like the minimal thing. And I know that it seems unbelievable. But that's what this is all about. That's what it's all about. It's not about price gouging you for the same thing. Money grows on trees, but these leaves grow on trees. What herb am I getting that costs $1 million? That I should forward that over to you. What herbs am I creating that it costs $1,000 to do? That I need to forward that over to you to pay for. See, you don't want to understand that it literally grows on trees. You don't want to understand that this is just as easy as 1, 2, 3 because it's actually the transforming of the renewing of one's mind. The hardest thing for you to do is be content with nature. And because of that ability to not have that in you, you're going to be anxious because you're in this paradigm trying to do your will without a whole bunch of control over the wheel. You're trying to do your will without a whole bunch of control over the wheel. Did she come back over here? Okay, so 11,772. 11,772. Okay, so we know from 1021 to 1121 is going to be a Scorpio. All right, so 11,7 meaning that you're in the middle decan of Scorpio. All right, so if you're in the middle decan of Scorpio, the thing that you got to watch out for is your uterus and ovaries. Okay, your uterus and ovaries. If you're a man, you need to watch out for your prostate. Okay, and you also need to watch out for your throat. Okay, throat conditions. All right, now that was for my YouTubers. Throat condition and your reproductive. Okay, the physical church. You heard that, Shane Allen? Your reproductive organs, your genitals, and you need to watch out for your throat, having throat issues. Okay. And just like that, we can start getting you to be able to prepare for things. Simple. By birthday? Yeah. Missy Arnell, we don't do it like that, okay? We need a full birthday. Okay. If I want to do something like that, then I would just ask you for your age and ask you for your whatever, then we can track you. So I do it several different ways. I show you guys how this could be a tracking system. I show you guys how you can understand your particular issues. Okay. I show you guys how to get the foods out of here by shopping by color. I show you how to get the herbs out of here by the opposites. I show you how to manage yourself when you're looking at these things by deep breathing techniques, drinking natural spring water, eating more fruits and vegetables, sweating activities. All this stuff is stuff that y'all act like y'all don't understand, but it's it's written in plain English. What color for water and earth? So it's not necessarily about the color for water and earth. We first must understand what condition you are dealing with, Micaiah. Okay, Michaela. So we have to categorize your condition. So let's say you have a disease. I don't know if you want to put that here, but that's what we would do. If you have a disease, we got to categorize it first. And then by that categorization, that's how we know if it's an earth or water condition, or if we need to put it, this, that, and the third. So weight is a fire condition, okay? Weight is a self-control. So it's here. Self-control is here is a fire condition, and then self-control is and then also the doubt and trust. So off the rip, when you got weight problems, you got doubt and trust issues, because that's a thyroid issue dealing with metabolism. And then off the rip, you got self-control issues. So doubt and trust issues and self-control would be what I would tell you to work on, Michaela, if you got weight issues. Doubt and trust, self-control issues. That's the spiritual thing of what's been going on with whomever got the weight issue. Now you see how I work. Michaela, now you see how I work. Okay, y'all are watching me. Now do y'all see how HerbMan work? Okay. I don't even know this young lady, but she said, Michaela just said, yes, that's so true. Okay. So that's what we do here. That's how I work. We need to get to this spiritual stuff first. I know y'all be wanting to hurry up. I got testimonies all over the place. You can go Google me, Barbara. Just Google HerbMan, INC. We 5-star rated on Google, and you got plenty of people to go and look at. Okay, Google me, HerbMan, INC, 5-star rated on Google. Okay, how do I clean out cancer? The biggest thing that you want to do dealing with any type of cancerous situation is, first of all, be through with everything. All right, no more chemo, no more radiation, no more treatments. That's the first thing you got to do. Be finished. Once you are completely, unequivocally, unadulteratedly finished with treatment, then you can start your detoxification process. You can do it with something just as simple as maybe some seaweeds and some charcoal. Okay, activated charcoal with maybe some chlorella, some spirulina or something like that. I would more or less lean to a chlorella and some activated charcoal. You can do that, or you can go to my website and type in detox and get that 21-day lymphatic cleanse, and that's going to make you sweat out the mucus. That's going to make you cough up the mucus, poop out the mucus, and urinate out the excess mucus that you need out of your body. That toxicity created. Okay, and that's what you need, something to sweep it out of the system, and then you well on your way to happiness, wholeness, and wellness. All right. Did your shopping curtains close, King? Hell no, I closed my shop, bro. I'm in South Africa. My shit wasn't never even close to being closed down. Nah, man, we just made a decision, bro. I got kids out here, man, and so we're trying to build family. I can't just build wealth without building fam as well. Yes, I'm gonna get that. What's the website again? You guys can just DM me if you got information about the website, information about the owner's manual, information about products in general. Just DM me, or you can email me, and we'll plug you in. I did that cleanse and it works amazing. Okay, yeah, that detox, something serious. Waiting on my products now. Yep, you guys should be getting your products here. I told you guys we're gonna be shipping out this week and next week, so everybody should have their stuff who have been ordering while I've been in travel. Activated charcoal and chlorella. Yeah, that's exactly what I figured. Yeah, peace and blessings. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So just like that, you can start to understand. Okay. When Gemini and you having Sagittarian qualities, right? A lot of you guys don't understand that when you don't know enough about that other part of you, you're not tapped into that other part. When you've been getting, just all over the place information, especially when we're doing these modern day natal chart readings, you know more about your Mars and your Venus, but you don't know nothing about this double sun sign. You know more about your rising sign and about your moon, but you didn't know nothing about the double sun in you, right? And what it does is you either create a situation where you either excessively abuse the good part of you, or you neglect the other part of you. Now, from my understanding, I ain't never been no social worker, but I was married to a social worker for over 10 years. And from my understanding, abuse, excessively doing something is a form of abuse, just like neglect is. Now, you can lose your child for abusing them excessively, meaning always paying attention to that ass. Or you can lose your child by neglecting them. These two sons are your children. You can mess up by favoring one, and you can mess up by not paying attention to the other. So that's how we work the 12. That's how we work the two sun signs. Obey 0007 says 12/11/68. So we already know that from what? From 11/21 to 12/21, you're going to be a Sagittarius, right? But now just look at this. Obey 0007. You still here? So you're in the third deacon of Sagittarius, right? That's what you're telling me. You're in the third deacon of Sagittarius. So we know off the rip what we're talking about here, right? We know off the rip that the third deacon of Sagittarius is going to be talking about nearsightedness and speech. Same thing with the other person. You can see near. You get near sight, but you can't see far. So that means that you're great at short-term planning, but need to work on your long-term goal setting. Okay? And you may find that you may have issues with your speech. Okay? Obey 0007 said, yeah, I'm nearsighted. Easy. Sacred Harpy. Okay? Sacred Harpy is 2584. So 121 to 221, we call that an Aquarius. So being in the fifth day is going to make you in the middle deacon of Aquarius, and that's going to be your legs, okay? Sacred Harpy. Sacred Harpy, your legs. Watch your legs, okay? Something going on with your legs. And then lastly, you want to watch your blood. You can have blood issues, okay? Sacred Harpy. Are you here with me? Your legs and your blood. Okay, did that make sense? Sacred Harpy. All right, you guys that are putting your birthday up here, make sure that you're responding. If you don't respond, then ain't no need of me, ain't no need of y'all putting your birthday up here. Sacred Harpy said, yes, I have blood issues. There you go. Okay, prone to it. It ain't nothing that just happened, Sacred Harpy. You were prone to it. This was a tendency of yours. This is the value of the owner's manual for the funky, measly little $50 that we're offering you guys. That's what we're trying to tell you. If you know your tendencies, then you know your nature. To know the nature of something is to know the tendency of something. I know that spring has a tendency of being hot and wet. I know that summer has a tendency of being hot and dry. I know that fall has a tendency of being cold and dry. And I know that winter got a tendency of being cold and wet. I know the tendencies of something. Therefore, now I can prepare for it a whole lot better within me and within my paradigm. All right. 71371 Keith. 71371 Keith. Are you still in the building? 71371 Keith. Are you still in the building? To say yes. All right. So from 621 to 721, we call it a Cancer. All right. So you're in the last deacon of the Cancer. Okay. You're in the last deacon of the Cancer. So again, you as well want to watch out for your sense of touch, and you also want to watch out for your joints. Okay, Keith? Joint issues. Your sense of touch. Something going on with your fingertips and your skin. And you also want to watch out for your joints. Okay, joints. All right, Keith, that sounds about right for you, 71. I already have my manual still trying to master it, or should I just keep it simple? Yeah, you can just keep it simple. Always try to keep it simple. Obviously, that's going to be the best rule of thumb, is to keep it simple. Make sure that the biggest questions about everything that you guys getting on your owner's manual is you want to match up those spiritual things with those physical things. So that's why I keep showing y'all this every day on this board, so that y'all can get this. Okay, you want to match up whatever. So high blood pressure is down here. So you got to know that high blood pressure, if you're dealing with that, that's I need to release my stress. You need to say that out loud. If you're dealing with reproductive issues, you need to say, I need to release all guilt and unforgiveness. If you're dealing with diabetes and digestive issues, you want to say, I need to release all self-control issues. If you're dealing with autoimmune issues and immune issues, you want to say, I want to release all grief and depression. If you're dealing with weight issues, if you're dealing with thyroid issues and metabolism issues, you want to say, I want to release all doubt and trust issues. If you're dealing with growth and development issues like alopecia, you're too short, or you're too tall, or you got too much hair on your body, don't got that much hair at all, miscarriages, infertility issues, then you want to say delusion, I release all delusion and loneliness. If you're dealing with mood swings and sleep issues, and if you're dealing with nervous system issues and muscle spasms and circulatory issues, then you want to say, I release all attachment issues. So you got to know what you're dealing with to know how to connect it to the spiritual things. Like when we're talking about with Keith right there and dealing with the, I think Keith had the joints. I think it had the joints and the touch of the skin, okay, or whatever that was, whoever that was, right? But having those things together lets me know that one of them is a Cancer, which is a water element, and one of them is an earth. So water element right here, guilt and unforgiveness, delusion and loneliness could be a possibility in that person who is a Capricorn Cancer. Another one is because of the Capricornian is you can be stressed and dealing with worry. And then also you can have that doubt and trust. Those are 4 spiritual tendencies just off of one birthday. Where do we get the manual new to your page? Just DM me for information on the owner's manual. It is a consultation email that you get with all of this information. Plus, you're going to get this chart up there, right? So I showed y'all the chart that you get on your email. Let me pull that back up. Please keep tapping the screen, you guys. We ain't finished yet. We got about 15 more minutes to go. I've already seen orders come in. Okay, so you're also going to get this wheel for you to track yourself around this wheel. Okay, so you're getting everything I can possibly throw at you to keep you on track and on balance with nature. You can keep going back, okay, because we're going to track you around this wheel. Okay, now the wheel that I got, I just broke it in half, but we're going to track you around this wheel. Your whole job is to get back to where you started at. Okay, somebody put that in the chat. Your whole job is to get back to where you started at. That's 120 years old. Your whole job is to get back to where you started. And what you just got to know is how to run that race in the physical and how to run this race in the spiritual. You can't do it all spiritual and you can't run it all physical. You must know the duality between the two. And that's the balancing act. And that's what you're getting in your owner's manual. Okay, your whole job is to get back where you started. That's it, Cassie B. That's your whole job, is to get back to where you started. And you must know that you got to be balanced because there's going to be a spiritual time in your life and a physical time in your life. If you try to run this course all through your physical body, meaning all through your intellect, meaning all through your masculine energy, meaning all through your patriarchal social engineering, you will not make it. At the end of running that race is a word called death. If you try to run this whole race just in the body without contacting the spirit and understanding the magnificence and the power in which resides here again, how can you heal arthritis if both knees are bummed out? You got to stop walking. That's a less physical time in your life and a more spiritual. You heal. How do you cure cancer? Cancer is a busybody in your body. It is a irregular, or what they call abnormal division of cells. That's the definition of a cancer. It's a abnormal division of cells, meaning things are just growing. That's electric. That's acidic. That's stimulated. So then what you got to do? Parasympathetic, unstimulated, relax it, calm it down. Alkalinity, feminine energy, however you want to call it, the yang to the yin, the water to the fire, the earth to the air. It's the opposites. If you don't understand this paradigm, I'm trying to make it so simple that it may not seem good to you, it may not seem right to you, but I promise you that if you use this old ancient ass methodology, you'll get up off your deathbed. Right now in the hospital, you can get up off your deathbed. If you had a cold body in the deathbed right now, let me show y'all something real quick. Keep tapping that screen, I'll keep talking to you guys. Let me show you something real quick on really how you can pop up a loved one. Really, really simple. when you're laying in the deathbed, when I call that the hospital, when you land in the hospital room and they say that you got stage 4, stage 5, if you put one person at the head of that person, now you got to have 5 people. You got to have 5 people. You're going to put one person at the head, and you're going to put your hands at their ears. You're going to rub your hands together, make it real warm, and you're just going to put your hands over their ears. You get another person. It can't be the same person, so you got to have 5 people walk into a room to revive a person. One person going to be at the head. 2 people, or one person going to be at the hand. Another person going to be at the other hand. And another person is going to be at the feet. And you're going to rub them feet with your hands. You're going to rub your hands together and put your hands on these feet. Now, what's happening is you're transferring your heat energy. That's all it is. You ain't doing shit else. It ain't no magic trick to it. It ain't no spookism. It ain't God. It ain't Jesus. It ain't nobody but heat energy. You're going to transfer your heat energy into a cold body and watch what happens in days this person can get back on their feet. Old ancient stuff. Keith said he had a replacement last year. So that was in the reading, right? Real easy. If we get the owner's manual, can you help us understand? Is there a conversation? Yes. Yes. Once you get your owner's manual, obviously it's going to appreciate it, but I would love for you to know about it and want to use it than to just use it as a commodity or some rarity that you're just going to sit up on the counter and say, you know what? 50 years ago, I got that from HerbMan. I ain't never opened it yet. I don't want you to do that shit. I want you to be done testing and try to improve my stuff because it ain't my stuff, it's ours. Okay. So if you have a lot of questions or you just want me to walk you through the whole thing, you need to save the contact and then download WhatsApp and call me and I can walk you through it. Because you want me to do all that typing after I just did all that typing, it just don't make no sense to reiterate what I've already reiterated. But if I can talk to you, then we can kind of concise these questions and I can answer things at one good time. Okay. I'm 57 and did a lot of damage to my physical body and fighting to connect to my spiritual mind. All right, so user 1807, real quick, give me a birthday. Let's see if you in the spiritual time in your life. Let's see what's going on with you, pimp. My grandma raised me like this until I was 19. I'm gonna get both eyes, but I won't know her time. No, we don't need time. All we need is birthday. We don't need time. We don't need location. We don't need nothing, LP. We don't simplify this thing down to where we can deal with any human being in this time and space. All right. We don't need nothing. That's what we do, blazing and being amazing. That's what we do is the self-consultations. Okay. That's what we do. We want to consult you by going back to nature first with this reading and then let it spit out everything about you, and then we converse. But I don't do doctor diagnosis, self-diagnosis. I don't do blood samples, urine samples, stool samples. I don't do hair samples. I don't do any of those things. We don't poke you, prod you, prick you. We're not invasive. We're non-intrusive. This is just about going back to nature and letting nature tell you about you. Mama knows all. 6/27/1968. 6/27/1968. From 6/21 to 7/21, that means that you are a Cancer. Now, you are in the first decan of Cancer, okay? So there can be some skin issues and some spinal issues going on, okay? Now, if a 1968 Cancer come in here, okay, which is here, 1968 Cancer, your beginning is your end, okay? So we know that your beginning is your destination, okay? Your starting point is your finish line. So we got that. This is where you need to be in the back up at, user 1807. 68 years old, that means that you are 57 or going on that. So you're 56. So now we go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 6. You are currently 6 years, okay, into Sagittarius. All right. Now, the thing about this 6 years in the Sagittarius is for the last few years, especially for this last year, you done messed around here and entered into transition. Okay. So you're transitioning. Now, in this transitioning, yes, you're all over the place using 1807 because you don't know where you want to be. You're at that phase of your life where you don't know if you want to live where you at. You don't know if you want to move somewhere else. You don't know what the job entails. You're trying to get through that part of the life as far as your job and all this career that you got going on. So that's where that little phase is at. But look here, you're in the fall. You're in the spiritual time of your life. So you just got it right, man. You're at a time where you should be using more of your spirituality, your mind, your magnetism, and less of your physical body. Okay. So you do need to be at this time where you're drawing things in. You want to start drawing things closer to you, my brother. You want to start drawing things closer to you, my sister, whoever that was, using 1807. But yes, you're at a spiritual time in your life. You need to use less physical ability and more spiritual ability to make you through. Okay. But the reason why you've been kind of all over the place is because it's Sagittarius. So you're just on the move. You're on the move. You're on the go. But everything will start selling in here in a minute. Okay. 114.67. 114.67. So you 121 to 12.21. You're out of that range. So from 12.21 to 121 will mean that you're a Capricorn. Okay. All right. And so you had the third decan of Capricorn theme. 114.67. All right. Theme. So you're in the third decan of Capricorn, okay? So being in the third decan of Capricorn, you want to watch out for your joints and your sense of touch, okay? Your skin, right? The way you touch things, the sense of touch, and your joints. Are you sure you're not psychic hit on the head? No, I'm not psychic. Yeah, I'm not psychic, man. I'm using nothing but nature. And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys using 1807. If this is quality information for your problems, if this is a flashlight into your problems, if this is a mechanism that can find hidden trauma in the secret spaces of one's mind and heart, then it can also find remedies. Don't get so fascinated by this live that all you get caught up in is finding the problems. Get fascinated in the live that we also can find the solutions. And that's what the owner's manual is about. Okay. Don't get caught up in finding the problem. When does he start? Like, I want this info from the beginning. I come on every day from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're coming live from South Africa right now. Yes, I used to own a herb shop in America, particularly in Conyers, Georgia. I was one of the fastest growing herbalists out there on that side in the neck of the woods. I also became very popular here on TikTok and social media. So we're still popping, we're still doing our thing, man. But we just over here trying to teach other people. That's our color about that. Where there's a will, there's the way. Okay, where there's the will, there's the way. This is where all my anxiety comes from. Yes, and we just talked about it. Anxiety being the bone breaker, the back breaker being the prison guard. The anxiety is the prison guard to the prison of the mind. OMG, y'all want to leave the U.S.? Yeah, man, you can do it. I'm from Augusta, Georgia. What's happening there? Zanetta, what's happening there? Just because you're from Georgia, Zanetta, go on and put your birthday up there. I'll give you one. I think I went to your shop and it's temporarily closed. Yeah, man, we just dipped up out of that Cassie B. You know what I'm saying? We've been over here now for 3 weeks. Are you in Covington? Yeah, you right up the street. You right up the street. But you know, you can always email me. You can always, again, you can save the contact. You can call me with WhatsApp. Download your WhatsApp app and holler at me. 11368. So I got a lot of my 68s on today. I told y'all a lot of my fan club is the 50s, 60s, and 70s, 80-year-old people. I love them. They've been through a lot of stuff. They know a lot of stuff about health. They know about medication. They know about religion. They know about what don't work, and they know about what do work. But they also got a keen spirit on people. And I love the fact that they feel very inclined to ask me whatever about their health. And I love to be able to learn from them as well, and us kind of trade and kind of remember old ancient things, kind of like I'm a young man to them, but I remind them of what mama and them used to do. You know what I'm saying? Because all they needed to do is just get reminded. Oh yeah, my mama and them showed they used to do this and do that. Boy, you show you in your little photos over there. Yeah, man, we old soul. But 11/3/1968, so 10/21 to 11/21 makes it a Scorpio, right? So you're going to be in the middle decan of Scorpio. So I can tell you off the rip, you want to watch your reproductive area, Zanetta White. Okay, so your ovaries and your uterus are going to be very, very particular to you being 11/3. All right, and then another thing is throat issues. Zanetta White, throat issues. You may find yourself always having an irritated throat or just always having strep throat or something like that, right? So throat issues, and then your ovaries and your uterus, you want to be careful about Zanetta, okay? Grand Diva said 224.70. Can you please do my daughter 9/30/1999? The only thing that I can do for her is just what I've been doing. Menopause ain't no disease though, Zanetta. Menopause ain't no disease. You just got a hormonal imbalance though, but we got to get you back balanced with that. But it's not a disease. Daughter 9/30/1999. So 9/21 to 10/21 is going to make it to where she is a Libra. Okay. Born in the first decan of Libra, you want to watch out for metabolism issues, and also you want to watch out for any head trauma. User 7931. 7931, the skull, head injuries, right? Head issues, autism, schizophrenia, bipolarism, anything to do with the head, you want to watch out for that for your daughter, as well as metabolism issues, user 7931. So hopefully she's not dealing with any of those things. Okay. Who else we got on here? Again, you guys, yes, she had that when she was little. Oh, okay. I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that, okay? But if you want to get the lowdown on what's going on with her, then obviously, we can help you out with the owner's manual. You get a little bit more information. Twyla Harris say, OMG. You ain't think she was going to say that, Twyla? I'm telling you, this thing fire, y'all. This thing fire. 5/19/75, Emmanuel Lake Polo. Emmanuel Okpolo. I think it's Emmanuel Okpolo. 5/19/75, right? So if you are dealing with 4/21 to 5/21, then you're in your Taurus phase, okay? Taurus phase. Now you've been in the 19th. That's going to make you more on the ass end of Taurus, right? So you want to watch out for your ears, okay? Your hearing. Your ears and your hearing, okay? And then also you want to watch out for your hormones. Emmanuel, Akpolo, your hearing. Watch out for your hearing, your ears, and watch out for your hormones. Okay. Mix up what yes sir. Look at, man, it's 6:00, man. I appreciate all of the love, man. We're gonna come back tomorrow. Again, you guys, if you got any questions, any concerns, please DM me and we'll get you the information that's needed for your owner's manual. For a funky measly little $50. You get way more than what we're doing for these folks, and that's all you really need. And really, what I'm telling y'all, if you got your tendencies down packed, that's all you really need. Now you just need somebody to know the herbs to give you, and you eradicate your issue. We can do all of that for you for everything that we're asking for you to understand here. So if you don't understand it and you got your owner's manual and you want to keep learning and learning and learning, keep tuning in every day from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love you guys, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it until next time. Love her, man. Appreciate all of the 100,000 likes, man. Peace, peace, peace. Yes, sir. YouTube, we love you, man. Peace out, you.
Hey, that's a matter reading. That's it.
Can you get it? How quickly can you get that thing up?
I'm not worried about matter rating right now. I'm worried about playing football.
Yeah, matter rating 76.
Hey, that's a matter reading. That's it.
What's up?
Can you get it? How quickly